The development of Super Mario 64 was fairly lengthy during its time at approximately 3 years. A lot of that came down to trying to completely redesign a 2D platformer to work properly in 3D. And so, through numerous different tests, designs, and concepts, a lot of ideas were cut and never utilized. But through interviews, leaks, and even data mining the released game, a horde of leftover cut content has been found. So today on Cut Content, we go over a great deal of what was cut from one of the greatest platformers of all time, Super Mario 64. The transition from 2D to 3D has been a tough rock for many platformer series, and to do a proper transition, the level design is a major element that needs to be revised and redone continuously. Therefore, Super Mario 64 has 6 cut maps and levels found through leaks. 4 of these are test maps, which are used to test Mario's various platforming abilities, including jumping, running, sliding, walking in various terrains, and even shooting out of a cannon. Out of the 2 remaining ones, one is an interior early floor of Princess Peach's castle, which is full of bizarre textures, and the paintings are instead wall murals that you could have jumped into. The last one, however, is a full cut level of a fortress castle-like structure. It definitely appears incomplete too, as some of the areas are not even accessible without a moon jump code. But presumably, the very top of this stone structure would have contained a star, which in this case brings us to beta stars, which were actually 2D textures that resembled more of what they looked like in Super Mario RPG before they went with the full 3D model that we have today. But in trying to design Mario's platforming abilities in 3D, he did get a flurry of animations that didn't get used but are left behind from when they were testing his abilities with them. There are 2 different triple jumps tested. One was this rolling animation for the 3rd jump of the triple jump. Another was the spinning move he could do, which could have been very useful in gliding to different areas, which I presume may have been removed for how broken it was. Now he can only do this when jumping on certain enemies. He also had a different animation for a side jump here too before they settled on this one. Along with that, a number of other animations were cut as well, as seen here. But with alterations to how Mario works, existing levels also received alterations too, whether for design purposes or to better reflect Mario's abilities and challenges. These include Whomp's Fortress having more angular platforms instead of the traditional square ones on its tower. The boulder of Hazy Maze Cave being able to break apart when colliding with Mario, as seen with these leftover broken pieces. Princess Peach's castle here with the mural not being available. The grass and Whomp's Fortress looking very different. The water mine that looks a lot like the mines from Bowser's levels being available in Dire Dire Docks and possibly other water levels too. There being a stepping stone structure in place of the hut in Cool Cool Mountain. These hilarious eyes on those push blocks in Whomp's Fortress. Different textures on the inside of Princess Peach's castle, and the usage of keys that you'd get from Boo's and Big Boo's haunt to unlock doors in that level. And with these altered level designs, many objects that were to be in a number of levels were also removed. One of these includes a yellow switch. Normally, we have a red, blue, and green switch used to unlock the 3 caps of Mario. However, an unused yellow switch also exists. The switch was meant for unlocking yellow boxes which contained Koopa shells in the final game, but the game already has these unlocked, so when you load the switch into the game, the switch is already pressed. But with some work, it can be unpressed, which would make the yellow boxes go transparent, much like the red, blue, and green boxes do. A theory I have is that it is possible that originally the yellow boxes held other caps too, but once they got their own boxes, a switch for the yellow box wasn't needed anymore, as the only item you really get would be an insignificant item like the Koopa shell. Aside from the yellow switch, another removed object includes a trampoline, which was originally found within the code of the wing cap level, but the source code was incomplete. It likely was meant to give Mario a boost to fly into the air, and if it was meant to be used in other levels, might have been used to get to a higher platform. But with the code restored, it functions as intended with a proper animation, and when Mario jumps on it, it gives him the extra height boost it was meant to give him. But as for remaining removed objects, these include an unused checkerboard platform, a beta pipe, a beta giant treasure chest, beta coins, this untextured platform, and this differently textured block from the tick-tock clock level. With unused objects, we also get unused enemies too. Most popularly as of recent is this one called Moto. Moto uses the same 2D texture for its body that bombs, bullies, and even Chuckyas in a different color use. He can pick up and throw Mario, and Mario can do the same to him. So it is possible he was the beta version to an enemy that was already meant to push Mario around. So bullies, King Bomb, and yes, Chuckyas are all contenders for who replaced him. Or it is possible that he was removed and they made these enemies from his concept. Or maybe he was a fourth enemy in addition to these three, but they removed him because there were already too many pushy enemies in the game. Another cut one was Blargg, who was an enemy from Super Mario World. His model is still in the game along with his animations. However, he has no texture. But presumably, he would have popped out of the lava and knocked Mario off while he's surfing on the lava. And of course, red Koopas are another enemy that were cut. While there is no model for him, his red shell still remains in the data. Much like green shells existing and having a green Koopa associated with it, a red Koopa must have also been planned at one point for that red shell too. In fact, Super Mario 64 DS almost attempted to revive this old enemy where he would have been an aggressive Koopa, unlike its green variant. But alas, he was cut in the game too. But aside from the removed ones, existing enemies were also altered. Big bullies, regular bullies, and bombs all originally were supposed to have 3D spherical bodies instead of the existing 2D bodies that follow wherever the camera is pointing. As well, the big bullies also had a single horn beta variant similar to its chill bully variant. Also, chill bullies who only appear in a large form also had an unused smaller variant within its code too. Womps and Thwomps from Whomp's Fortress both had funnier, more cartoonish looking faces too. And beta versions of both the spider Scuttlebug and the shark Sushi exist too. While he's not an enemy, the penguins in Cool Cool Mountain also had a different head as originally seen in the old footage of the game. A few unused textures also exist. One includes a metal wing cap to be used when wearing both the metal cap and the wing cap, which is not possible in the game. But if you've messed around with a Game Shark, that's something you might have actually done already. Another one is a face that is supposed to appear on Lakitu's cloud as it normally did in previous Mario games, but it didn't in this, and so it was left unused. A texture of Bowser with blue eyes also exists, which is different due to him normally having red eyes in the released game. A texture for a cactus also exists, which likely was to be in the level Shifting Sandland for Mario to glide into and take damage. Now when it comes to taking Mario from 2D to 3D, everything was considered, including Yoshi and Luigi. As Shigeru Miyamoto pointed in an interview from Japanese Strategy Guide of Super Mario 64, Yoshi was planned to be used in an event in the game but was cut for quality control. However, some of the remnants of Yoshi still remain. Aside from his model not being wasted and used at the top of the castle, the egg he would have hatched out of still exists within the code, and it is found within the data of the level Wet Dry World, which likely would have been where the said event would have taken place. How he would have played is still a mystery, but considering how Yoshi was meant to usually make Mario's life easier as he did in Super Mario World prior to this game, everything from jumping higher to reaching different platforms more easily, launching eggs at switches to change the water level, and flutter jumping to the gate that takes you to the downtown area instead of using the cannon or raising the water level to its maximum could easily have been possible. But the character that was most sought after was of course Luigi, who for the longest time many associated with the star statue that supposedly said L is real 2401. Within the same interview that spoke of Yoshi's removal, one question down, Miyamoto mentions that Luigi was also there in a multiplayer mode, but was removed for memory issues. With a Giga leak that took place, a model of Luigi was eventually available to the public, along with his missing textures to make a complete model. When ported into the game, he functions just as he should too, of course. Together with Luigi, a second player texture was also found, Outside of the leak of Luigi, there also was some unfinished code that pointed to a multiplayer mode. When the code is completed, it does bring up a split-screen gameplay where one person could control Mario and the other Luigi in a co-op fashion, and therefore solving one of gaming's biggest mysteries. And with that, we've come full circle as we return back to Luigi, the first video in my Mario 64 Cut Content series. Now for those of you who have been following my Mario 64 Cut Content series, you may have noticed that a lot of this information was already mentioned in those previous videos. This video was both a compilation of those videos in a smaller form, together with other cut content that wasn't a big enough topic to warrant its own video. However, if you are newer to the channel and enjoyed what you saw here, you can watch much of these in much grander and deeper details with full-fledged videos on these topics that I've covered making in the past few weeks. Over this period, while covering Mario 64 Cut content, I've enjoyed this process of visiting this old classic game that I used to hack over a decade ago. On top of that, it's absolutely amazing to see how many of you have enjoyed these to the point where they're easily now my highest viewed videos to date. Thank you so much, everyone. Each and every one of you is amazing. So everyone, hit that subscribe button, for I'll be back with more cut content episodes very soon. Hit that like button too if you liked it, and leave a comment below on what aspect of the cut Mario 64 elements do you miss the most. So everyone, thank you for watching.